This is New Dawn Africa, bringing you breaking news and powerful stories shaping Africa's future. Stay informed, stay empowered, subscribe and join the movement. Ibrahim Traoré, shielded by his Russian allies and persuaded that he has been assigned a duty, is a messianic figure for his fans and a paranoid despot for his opponents. To both, the self-proclaimed president remains a mystery. Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's leader, has changed. He's gained more confidence. The military fatigues he wears are no longer earth-toned but pristine white. He is no longer the young captain who few knew before the coup on September 30, 2022. Instead, he is the world's youngest head of state. And, despite having no legitimacy other than that conferred by arms, he demands respect. Megalomania. The early days of his reign, when Ibrahim, as he is known to his compatriots, informed anybody who would listen that he had no intention of remaining in power, have long passed. A year and a half later, he is still in charge of the country's daily operations, a task he pledged to expedite at the time. Traoré has thoroughly established his junta and enforced his rule, with no mention of resigning his position or organizing elections. He was no better off than anyone else. Several captains, including him, plotted the coup against Lieutenant Colonel Damiba, who had previously held control. Because he is a man of strong character, he volunteered to take responsibility and won the day. Recalls an officer from his generation. A former government servant said it slightly differently: "We knew he was a terrific manipulator from the first few weeks. He spoke what everyone wanted to hear. When people finally understood, it was too late." Traoré, originally from Bondokuy in the country's agricultural west, is a forthright and direct bushman who joined the army after graduating from the University of Ouagadougou with a geology degree. He attended the Georges Namono Military Academy at Burkina Faso where, according to certain military sources, he was not pleased with his instructor's harshness. Disgusted by what he saw during operations, he detested the hierarchy, in which top officers sat in air-conditioned headquarters while their soldiers were massacred by jihadists with general indifference. Many top commanders do not understand him and hold contempt for him. He repays them well. His revenge is scathing, according to one military insider. For these senior officers, having to stand at attention before a captain in his 30s and accept his commands has been a difficult pill to swallow. Many would be pleased to see him fall, not least those close to Damiba, who have been deposed by their subordinates, or the former Green Mambas of Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel Zungrana, whose power has been stripped. Traoré is aware of the distrust in the army. He's been in a bad position since the beginning and he still hasn't managed to find the right position. According to a soldier, in September 2023 he faced the possibility of being deposed before the year anniversary of his power grab. An attempted coup was halted at the last minute, and several elite officers, including many from the National Gendarmerie Special Intervention Unit and Special Forces, were imprisoned. Major Ismail Tohagabu was slain during an arrest attempt at his residence in Ouagadougou. Ibrahim really went into a tailspin after this affair, one officer stated. Both troops and people participated in the attempted coup. Since then he has been preoccupied by potential plots against him and is persuaded that everyone must be watched, even the most inconsequential person who is even somewhat critical of him. Oh, brother. In the days following the failed coup, Traoré took severe measures. Security was beefed up. Armored vehicles were deployed, and all nighttime travel was forbidden. He shut himself away, getting increasingly paranoid. He frequently moves his residence. No one knows where he sleeps, said a person close to Ouagadougou's power structure. He has stopped going out at night, when he used to ride his motorcycle to his relatives' homes. Only a few of his closest friends and supporters have maintained his trust, notably his brothers, Inusa and Kassem, who have worked with him since the beginning. The former is his very influential special advisor. In reality, he is nearly like a vice president. According to our source, Ibrahim does not make any critical decisions until they are approved by Inusa. Meanwhile, Kassem is in charge of publicity and mobilizing the junta's followers, the young people who will hold up a few roundabouts in the city center in exchange for a handful of CFA francs. Traoré's inner circle includes close collaborators, such as his chief of staff, Captain Anderson Meda, his private chief of staff, Lieutenant Colonel Isamal Diawari, and the head of his security, Lieutenant Aziz Pakmogda. He mostly relies on the captains with whom he deposed Damiba, such as Farouk Sorgo, Jean Ouya, and To a lesser extent Oumar Yabre, Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, with whom Traoré has a personal grudge. Traoré established 25 rapid intervention battalions and delivers direct orders to their commanders. He reorganized his military and security infrastructure to assure full commitment to his goal. In addition to establishing rapid intervention battalions, he recruited 50,000 volunteers for the defense of the homeland, civilian auxiliary forces to the army, and strengthened the State Security Directorate. He also assumed control of organizations he deemed unfriendly, like the National Gendarmerie and the Special Forces. At the beginning of January, he announced the establishment of a Special Rapid Intervention Brigade, an elite organization tasked with combating terrorism, participating in special operations, and defending institutions to maintain his regime. IB needed to secure external friends. Assimi Goïta, Traoré's Malian big brother, swiftly took him under his wing. In the usual pattern of a successful coup in the Sahel, Traoré broke connections with France, which he saw as intruding on Burkina Faso's sovereignty. To take shelter beneath Vladimir Putin's cover, he attended the Russia-Africa Conference in St. Petersburg at the end of July 2023, where he had his first meeting with the Russian president. Despite his lack of experience in the area, the youthful coup leader appeared at comfortable. Putin, for his part, sees the energetic captain as a valuable tool in his push into French-speaking Africa. The aborted coup attempt in Ouagadougou at the end of September hastened the rapprochement with Moscow. Several Russian military and paramilitary personnel were sent to Burkina Faso, including some who reported directly to the president. Others were assigned to work with Burkina Faso's National Intelligence Agency ANR, and still others were entrusted with training future special unit personnel. Since the murder of Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin in August 2023, approximately 200 men have been sent as part of Russia's new alliance with Africa. According to a military insider, they have created a security bubble with concentric rounds around IB to protect him. A former minister concurs the Russians are present at his side, but not too close or too visible, because many officers do not accept that foreign forces should be at the heart of our institutions in this way. Death squads in the army, housekeeping continues. At the end of December, a dozen officers suspected of plotting against Traoré were transported to Russia for a 2.5-year training course against their wishes. We attempted to fight this measure, but to no avail. The IB wants to keep us out as long as we are in the country. He will not have any peace of mind, stated one officer before leaving. Such purges harm more than just the military. All civilians who are critical of the junta are now under threat, including opponents, activists and journalists. In recent months, numerous famous personalities, like human rights campaigner Daouda Diallo and former Foreign Minister Abbas Ouadraogo, have been sent to the front lines to combat jihadist groups. Others, such as lawyer Guy Hervé Kem, have simply vanished for weeks after being kidnapped, sometimes from their homes in front of their family, by armed men dressed in civilian clothes. Read more about the French intelligence personnel seized in Burkina Faso. Fears of these killing squads, supposedly directed by Lieutenant Colonel, are causing widespread terror 10 years after the mass mobilization against President Blaise Compaoré, which aroused expectations for democracy. The country has plainly devolved into a military dictatorship. Fake news. Unsurprisingly, the misinformation machine is in full operation, with invaluable assistance from Russian experts. Foreign media outlets, like the Africa Report, have been suspended or banned, while state-owned media has become a propaganda tool for the government. Traoré's ardent supporters flood social media with bogus news on a regular basis, and they march to the streets to protect their leader. There is only one truth left, that of the junta. Traoré, the son of a nurse and a housewife, represents a working class that has been disregarded for decades and despises Ouagadougou's political and social elites. Traditional chiefs do not approve of him. He favors populist language, pitting regular people against the bourgeoisie, troops against senior officers, and patriots against traitors. He takes pleasure in condemning previous regimes' corruption, claiming that he wants to break free from terrible governance. The fine people of Ouagadougou find it difficult to accept, but it is a message that resonates with Burkina Faso's grassroots people, particularly in medium-sized cities and villages, according to one journalist. Excerpt from the CFA Frank. Traoré has embraced the Sankarist left-wing ideology within Burkina Faso politics philosophy of self-sufficiency, saying he intends to produce the country's food needs domestically and decrease imports as much as possible. He is a member of the Alliance of Sahel States, which also includes Mali and Niger, and he is considering quitting the CFA franc after rejecting the Economic Community of West African States. Animist attraction. Among his early adherents were long marginalized Wahhabi Muslim currents, which he skillfully leveraged to climb to and maintain power. Despite being the son of practicing Muslims, he does not practice himself. Despite being in charge for a year and a half, he has not visited the mosque, and with good reason. The young president is an animist. Animism is the notion that all objects, places, and live animals have a spiritual existence. Many describe IB as a violent character that is not frightened of anything, especially a battle, and is capable of throwing tantrums. When he was detachment commander, he once told his soldiers, "The jihadis don't have bulletproof vests, so we don't need them either," according to one security officer. On January 13, the dictatorship urgently mobilized its supporters in the streets of Ouagadougou. According to them, a new plot against the regime was being planned. A plot to assassinate Traoré was discussed. Several officers, including Lieutenant Colonel Everett Somda, former Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, were arrested. Their families don't know what happened to them. However, Burkina Faso's self-declared president is not as secure as he claims. He will never surrender. It's going to end badly, warns one former minister. Thanks for watching New Dawn Africa, your source for real stories and bold news from across the continent. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Africa's rise starts with you.